All right. So what's up, everybody? So look, man, let's get right into it. So we got David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde coming up. This is gonna be one hell of a fight, bro. I think, the true boxing fans, we're waiting on this shit, right? Of course, when David Benavidez fights, it's always a treat, man. This guy gives it his all in the sport of boxing. And this is one of the reasons why David Benavidez is so successful, bro. And I think there's a lot of things that people don't see when it comes to Benavidez, behind the scenes type of shit. His work ethic, right? His determination, his fucking motivation, his discipline. Of course, David Benavidez, to most casuals, right? And I really do, I'm not saying this just to talk shit, bro. I really do think that most casuals, they think David Benavidez is still this undisciplined fighter, as of course in the past he's popped dirty for cocaine, and then he lost his belt, and then he regained it and lost it again on the scale, when he didn't make weight. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of casuals, and I say casuals, bro, because if you're still thinking that about David Benavidez and you really don't follow boxing, you really don't follow David Benavidez, and you really don't know what David Benavidez is about these days. You know what I'm saying? This guy's work ethic is next level, and this is the reason why he is so successful. I think his work ethic is underrated, man, big time, bro. I really don't think that people realize, the kind of work ethic that David Benavidez has and the kind of discipline that he has these days. You know what I'm saying? This guy pretty much lives in the fucking gym, right? This guy's training 24/7 pretty much. This is the reason why somebody like Floyd Mayweather was so damn successful, bro, because he had this kind of different type of a work ethic. If you guys don't know, Mayweather used to wake up at 3 in the morning and go out for runs and shit. And there's certain boxers that professional boxers, right? They box and they train, and it's just kind of like their job, you know what I'm saying? And then you got these different kind of a boxers to where boxing is their life, you know what I'm saying? All they do is boxing, bro. All they do is train. And David Benavidez is one of those guys, right? You could tell that David Benavidez has a tremendous chip on his shoulder, and he's got something to prove, right? He's got something to prove at 168. He got ducked by Canelo. That's evident, right? Canelo pretty much already got exposed in his loss against Terrence Crawford. When a lot of people were thinking like Canelo would beat David Benavidez, it's pretty evident now. We could all see that there was a reason why Canelo was ducking David Benavidez. So with David Benavidez knowing that shit, knowing that he was the true champion at 168, knowing that he could have beat Canelo all along, knowing that he didn't rightfully get placed in that pedestal as he should have been at 168, he's got a lot to prove at 175, and this is why Benavidez is working so damn hard and he's on a damn mission. So when it comes to this fight, bro, of course I'm rocking with Benavidez. Anthony Yarde, though, this is not going to be no walk in the park. Anthony Yarde is going to come to fight, right? We all know that Anthony Yarde, I don't think that Anthony Yarde has the work ethic like David Benavidez does, but Anthony Yarde is just physically gifted like a motherfucker, right? This guy's built like a damn bodybuilder, and I think he relies on that shit a lot, right? I think that Anthony Yarde, he's one of these guys that boxing is not his life, right? He lives this different type of a lifestyle, and then boxing is kind of his job. I've seen him on interviews where he's actually even talking about this shit. And then it's no secret. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Anthony Yarde doesn't really even spar in his training camps, right? He's against sparring because of the damage that people take when they spar. And I don't know how to say this, right? I was gonna say I don't 100% disagree with him, because yes, it's a lot of damage, but when it comes to boxing, bro, how else are you gonna get the timing down, right, if you're not sparring, right? How else are you really gonna prepare for a fight if you're not sparring, man? When it comes to, him not taking those hits and that extra damage, I agree with it, right? But when it comes to you as a boxer wanting to be the best, bro, you gotta spar, man. And in this fight against David Benavidez, bro, Anthony Yarde has to spar, man. I'm not sure if he's sparring or not. I've heard rumors that he doesn't spar in training camps, but against David Benavidez, bro, I think it's going to be a huge mistake if Anthony Yarde is not sparring in his training camp. You know, because like I said, bro, that's just one of the best ways to pick up on the timing, bro, to pick up on your timing, to get your rhythm off. You know, you got to spar and shit. So, like I said, bro, when it comes to Anthony Yarde, I believe that Anthony Yarde is a boxer who relies more on his physical abilities, and I don't blame him, right? Because this guy's built like a damn tank. We all know that he's got punching power. You know, I personally, bro, I think Anthony Yarde could have did a little bit better in the sport of boxing if he were to have had a better work ethic and really have committed himself to the sport of boxing. You know, we all know that he's had some close fights with Beterbiev, right? He actually gave Beterbiev a run for his money. You know, that fight between him and Beterbiev, I watched that fight probably like 3 to 4 times because, you know, I like that fight, bro. And Anthony Yarde was doing pretty good until, you know, Beterbiev's power just got the best of him. But you could tell that Anthony Yarde even hurt Beterbiev in that fight. You know what I'm saying? So we all know that that power is there and the power is real from Anthony Yarde. But I just think, bro, with him not sparring, I just think it's going to be very hard for him to catch David Benavidez with one of those power shots. I'm not saying that he can't do it, but it's going to be hard, man, because David Benavidez has tremendous defense, bro. I know a lot of people, it's crazy how people say that Benavidez has no defense, that all he does is come forward. When you really break down David Benavidez' boxing style, you'll see that he has crazy defense, bro. This guy's defense is super, super underrated. You know, he's got good movement, good head movement, bro. He's got that, you know, that high guard, bro. That high guard that seems to be unbreakable, you know what I'm saying? The only times I really see David Benavidez get hit like that is when he just says fuck it and he just comes forward and he just doesn't really even care about his opponents really tagging him like that, as he's just trying to put the pressure on them and break them down and inflict, you know, the damage. So that's pretty much the only time you really see David Benavidez get hit. But, you know, could Anthony Yarde land a haymaker on him or something like that? He could, bro. This is boxing and anything could happen, but I seriously doubt it, bro. I don't see it. The way I see this fight going, bro, is, you know, of course, David Benavidez, they're both going to come forward. They both already said this shit. And this favors David Benavidez, man, more than it does Anthony Yarde, right? Because I personally think, bro, that Anthony Yarde, he probably will come forward, right? He probably will meet David Benavidez in the middle of the ring. But I just think once he starts feeling that pressure from David Benavidez, bro, he's going to have to box a little bit. And then, you know, I'll give the first couple of rounds to Anthony Yarde. But then I just see him fatiguing, bro. And I just see David Benavidez completely taking over in the second half of this fight. You know, but this first half of this fight, it should be fucking electrifying, bro. It should be one hell of a fight, bro. And it's going to give us a lot to look for in this fight. You know, as I do believe that these guys are probably going to let their ego get the best of them and trade off in the middle of the ring at some point in the fight, you know. And, you know, David Benavidez is already out there in Saudi, bro. This shit's ready to go. You know, it's going to be one hell of a fight card. We got Bam Rodriguez. We got Haney and Norman, of course. You know, David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde. This shit is stacked. We got other good fights on there. I just can't remember them off the top of my head. But, of course, the main event, and Beterbiev is on there too, right? As of course, you know, there's rumors that David Benavidez might fight Zurdo Ramirez next Cinco de Mayo, but Beterbiev is also on the radar, right? He's looking more towards Beterbiev than Zurdo, but if he does not get that Beterbiev fight, he's probably going to be taking on El Zurdo next Cinco de Mayo. You know, but yeah, man, let me know what you guys think about this fight, bro. What are you guys seeing in this fight? Leave it down in the comment section. You know, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and that's pretty much it for me. You know, I'll be on to the next one, man. I'm out.